Welcome to OneMore. I'm your host, Brian Erickson. Each week we bring in 2 new guests. We sit them down on Chris's lovely couch here, and we just talk about whatever we damn well please.
It's our show. We'll do what we will with it.
We'll do what we want.
You have to
Chris?
Yeah, well, you have to introduce
Chris?
me before I can agree with you.
First, and as always,
hi. How's it going?
Chris Dubrow.
How are you doing? Welcome to my couch. How's it going, Brian?
It's all right, man.
We saw each other Saturday. So how was your Sunday? We hung out.
All right.
Brian and I don't hang out.
We don't.
Viewer.
That's not viewer. That's not a mistake. We don't hang out.
We don't
on purpose.
Yeah, we just kind of either yell at each other with microphones or see each other at shows and talk into each other's ear because it's really loud. But we were able to chill and mostly talk. It was some QT, it was some PT, that's some private time.
We did have some private
We mostly talked about Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Was it? Didn't we?
Yeah, we did a lot. Do you remember?
Nick Knock and Ur.
Your boys.
I wasn't too far gone.
I was. How was your Sunday? What'd you do on Sunday?
I don't know.
Anyway.
No, I recorded a podcast episode.
Oh yeah, you did. Wasn't it Matt Cook?
Yeah, we had Matt Cook. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We're gonna cut that, edit that. I recorded a podcast episode.
Yeah, you were. I recorded a podcast.
No, we had Matt Cook, former guest of the show here.
We didn't do our guests, by the way. Should we mention who our guests are?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let's leave them. Let's
build suspense.
If the viewers are watching, they know the title and the button.
They
know
right here
that it is. Singer, songwriter, and Berkeley graduate Dave Vargo, and also noted Scrabble player Justin Pope and his band, the Swiss Guard.
Is Justin? Are you only known for Scrabble? Don't talk until we have the microphone, man. Just set him up for
How
failure.
was your Sunday?
So
we had Matt Cook on the show.
That's great. You did a weird album with him. You mentioned it. It was like
Age of Odds by Sufjan Stevens.
Yeah, I did not expect that to be a Matt Cook album.
Did you ever just expect the unexpected?
What year did that come out? I know nothing about Sufjan.
Sufjan.
Stufjan? I don't know how to pronounce it.
How was your Sunday?
What did I do? I do a show. I feel like I did a
5, 6,
show.
7, 8. How was your Sunday?
I feel like I did a show. I don't remember. I just found a candy wrapper on my couch. Heathens come in here and leave candy on my couch.
They do.
How dare they? I honestly, I don't know if I'm panicking.
Did you sleep?
Did I sleep?
I saw Fern did an episode of Waking Up Joey Henderson.
Oh yeah, we had a band meeting.
How'd that go? You guys in KL?
We're breaking up. It's over. We're kaput. Done.
That sounds about right.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna take all the money that we've made from the band and just buy some private islands. You know how
Divvy
it is.
It up. Yeah, it's about
with an indie DIY rock and roll band. You know how much money that there is.
$60 million each.
I don't like to put an actual figure on it, but yeah.
That's pre. All the investments.
Yeah, I mean, I also got I got so much hidden offshore accounts.
Yeah,
you know,
Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
Who?
Sort of Who's Cayman? Anyway, our first guest today, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you
want to do it?
The intro?
No, I have one ready.
You
do your intro. Okay. I have mine. I'm ready for mine.
He's a songwriter. He's a musician. He is a member of the band Kim and Dave, and he is a Berkeley School of Music graduate with honors. Let's bring on Dave Vargo.
With honors.
With honors, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Don't leave any wrappers.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
How are you, man?
Good. I mentioned Berkeley graduate because I wanted to.
Times?
Well, no. Well, I mentioned it twice, okay? But I mentioned it because
It felt like 7.
There's a stigma where if somebody goes to Berkeley, the first question's usually oh, did you finish? But so when I was reading your bio, it sort of, it's graduated Berkeley with honors, and it's oh, okay, good, he finished.
You read my bio?
Yeah, I did.
This is not going to go well.
No.
It's an intervention, Dave.
No. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for making your way. So you've been playing music since you were 14.
Out, yeah.
Oh, playing out?
Yeah.
Since you were 14?
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was 8. And at 14, they were sneaking me into bars when I was underage to play with older people.
Wow. So you were good.
I was okay.
I mean, 14 playing out, playing with that was like Palm when he said that 15 he's playing with our guest last week too. So that's yeah. So I take it the family, your family situation kind of loaned itself to allowing you to play. So what was the family situation like that? did they help foster this or?
No, they didn't really know. Mom, by the way, I was out at 14 in clubs drinking and playing music.
Okay.
Thanks,
well,
man.
No. Well, I mean, you're grounded.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think my dad, even when I was doing it professionally, really got the whole music thing, So
really?
it was very, I'd call him from the road and said, hey, we're going to be on the Letterman show tonight. It'd be cool. What's the backup plan?
Wow.
What are you doing for money now? Yeah, I don't think he really kind of got the thing. My mom was much better with it.
Okay. Well then, yeah, and that's that I could see that working where she probably like convinced him, or at least was like, oh, come on. Like, because, it's not like you're at, the like, I don't know, name a place in this area. You're like Letterman. Like that's a pretty solid way to start. Is that video like out there still? I have not seen it. Who'd you play the Letterman show with? Which one was that?
I think that was Phoebe Snow.
Really? Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna check it out. I hope it's.
I'm sure it's somewhere on the internet.
It's got to be out there somewhere.
If someone can find it, Dave Vargo will write you a song.
So, so you're playing out at a young age. You end up obviously studying music in college. You get out, and now you've sort of taken this path. What's that like now? You're kind of out of school. You're committed to this. Like, what's the next move for you at that point?
Yeah, I think I realized early that, I went to school to be a jazz musician, and I realized early that you couldn't make any money doing that. So, I got really lucky and hooked up with Vonda Shepard. You guys know who Vonda Shepard is?
Searching My Soul, right?
And she was out in California at the time, so I was going back and forth and doing shows with that, and that just kind of led to everything else. I got seen a couple of times, I guess, and eventually led to the Whitney gig.
And the Whitney gig being like touring with Whitney Houston.
No.
So tell us about that. Like let's spend a minute or two on that, and because that was actually my next, like, you kind of helped me out there, kind of getting from college to Whitney Houston. So
flawless transition, Brian.
What?
Flawless transition.
Hey, I'm just saying, we're on the same page tonight. So that's right. So what was that like?
It's funny you talk about this now, and Phoebe Snow's dead, Whitney Houston's dead, and I think most of the people I played with are no longer on this earth. But when it was a job, it was there was, for the first couple of weeks being on the road, there was some glamour to it, but the glamour quickly subsided, and you realized that you were playing the same songs every night in the same order every night, and you couldn't have any musical input on those songs. If you did, you got notes from the musical supervisor. Yeah. So, after a while, all the places kind of looked the same, felt the same. And I'm glad that I didn't, but I don't know that I would do it again.
Okay. Did you get to like interact with someone like Whitney Houston? Did you get to like hang out or
no.
be a part? So you didn't. That was not part of the experience at all, really.
No, we rehearsed once the band was put together, and she put together a band, or her people put together a band of I think we were all Jersey people, and I think that was some reason and rhyme to that for her. But we rehearsed, I forget now, for a month or so, and I didn't see Whitney once. So they had the background singer sang her parts. You learned the music. They had the choreographers come out and tell you where you were supposed to be during different songs. And the first time I saw Whitney Houston live or in person was live in the show at Madison Square Garden, which was our first show. And the first time I saw her was when she walked on stage or walked by me.
Wow.
And that was pretty much the only relationship I had. I don't think we've ever spoke word together. You weren't supposed to talk to the talent directly, and if you had issues, you had to go through somebody else, and if she had issues, she went through somebody else.
Wow. So, and this must have been, this was when she was at her peak.
Yeah, she was big. It was the best tour to be on.
Wow.
Whatever that means.
But so now, working with someone, I guess, well, not necessarily working directly with her, but, with others who, with someone like Phoebe Snow or someone like Vonda Shepard, did you get anything, did anybody impart a direct sort of lesson to you, or was there any kind of insight from anybody?
Not really. I think the coolest thing coming out, I did Phoebe in between Whitney tours. I was always afraid to say no to anybody when I was on tour. So I toured almost nonstop for about 3.5 years with various people. I think I had 5 days off a year. I was always afraid if I said no, they wouldn't ask again.
It would stop, yeah.
And going from Whitney into the Phoebe was such a different thing because in Whitney, once again, you were very regimented. Here's the songs, here's the order, here's how you're supposed to play just like the record. And I went to the first Phoebe gig and I said, what do you want me to play? And she said, you're the guitar player, figure it out. And I was like, ooh.
Wow. So then you get to like kind of have a little bit more fun and
exactly.
give that input that you were sort of looking to give.
So much more musical gig, except it didn't pay very well. So that was the trade-off.
Yeah, of course. So, you're obviously you're a songwriter as well. When you're doing this, when you're working with these pros, were you writing songs at that point yet, really?
No, I didn't start writing songs until about 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I always thought my job as a musician was to work with somebody else who was talented and try and make them sound better. Mm-hmm. That's all I did for
So there was never a
years.
point where you were sort of playing and you were like, oh yeah, I could do this.
Never.
Really? Okay. So when did that change?
I had stopped playing and doing anything musically for almost 10 years, I think. And at one point, we had a flood in my basement and all my instruments were destroyed. I said, ooh, I haven't played them in 10 years, but I kind of miss them now. So I went out and bought a really expensive guitar, figuring if I spent a lot of money on it, I'd start playing again. And it worked. And just started doing open mics.
Nothing like
things.
that motivation to be like, I spent money on this, so I
and it hasn't
use it.
I'm gonna use it.
And it hasn't stopped. 18 guitars later, or whatever it is.
Yeah, welcome back to.
I have more guitars now than when I used to tour for a living. It's funny. Yeah.
And did you find maybe that like, so your basement floods, you lose all your gear. You kind of come back out of that, and you said you only started writing songs a couple of years ago. Was that? You almost take that as like a little bit of a sign as you're going to start up this sort of new phase of your career as a musician or your life as a musician, adding songwriting. You're around these singers, these writers, these pros all your life. Now adding that, what was sort of the impetus behind it? Was it just like, I'm doing this, you wanting to add something new to the sort of toolbox?
It was my wife, relentless urging
to write songs.
Well, we were going to open mics and I would always be doing cover songs and most of the people around me were doing original songs. She said, you should really start writing songs. I said, that is really hard.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm very good at arranger, man. I can hear a song, in 5 seconds have an original arrangement for it. It's just something that very natural. Maybe because I played for so long and played for so many people, and I knew that sitting down to write a song would be painful, and it was. It still is. Even now
it's a process.
If I get a good year, I'll write 8 songs. It's nothing like. It never got to the stage that I'm dreaming them, or I wake up in the middle of the night and there's a song, and it's never been that easy, and I don't know if it ever will be. But.
Well, how regimented is your process? Everybody kind of has a different way to do it.
There's no real process. I keep lyric ideas in a notepad on my phone, and music ideas come very quickly, and I kind of record those and put them aside for when I need them. But usually, if I have a record that I'm writing for, that kind of pushes me to write more. Yeah. But I don't have any regiment that I write every day or once a week or whatever some people do.
Yeah, but you've kind of made a little bit of a sort of side career as a songwriter, as like a professional songwriter, kind of lending your songs to others too. And not just not even on like a local level, but on a professional level.
Well, trying. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's they're out there, and you told me that story. You were in the supermarket, right? And you were there. You're paying for your stuff. You told the cashier like one of your songs came over the over the PA. So
right.
You got to be doing something right.
Yeah, I have no idea how that happened.
Maybe you were in there.
They must have.
Yeah.
Like the chances of me being there at that store at that time of day and it to come on was just weird, but it was a very cool experience nonetheless.
Yeah, my mom thought she heard one of my songs at the supermarket. True story, and it turned out to be "When I Come Around" by Green Day.
Well, you wrote that, right?
Dave wrote.
Dave wrote. Well, yeah. Speaking of songs, Dave wrote. Dave has written all of the songs.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
But that is also that is a truth. I much rather have your story though of hearing your own song. But this kind of goes along with some of the sort of accolades you've been receiving as a writer and as a solo artist? Like, you released your debut album. It's been about 2 years.
About a year and a half, yeah.
Okay, yeah. 2016. And you've gotten like 65,000 plays on Spotify just in like the month of May.
May was a good month.
And no, but getting like featured on playlists and getting sort of good critical sort of write-ups and things like that. And how does that validation affect you? If at all.
It got me onto this couch.
Got you onto OneMore.
It ain't easy getting here.
Yeah, I mean, parking's hard, but it's pretty easy getting on the couch.
I don't take it too seriously, I guess. And I can't even explain why that 1 month was so great on Spotify and how people are still finding the music at this point. I mean, it feels good. I guess downside, I guess you want good critiques of what you do, and it gives you some level of validation, I guess. But at the same time, I know eventually there's going to be some bad things out there too. I guess you got to take it with a grain of salt both ways.
Yeah, and you've even kind of in addition to doing that and getting your stuff exposed, sort of on a larger scale, like you've kind of managed to carve out a pretty enviable spot for yourself, just even in the community, sort of being in charge of Porch Fest here in Asbury Park and doing the peer sessions each month and things like that, featuring different songwriters. So you're a participant, but you're also a curator, of sorts, and you kind of bring other people in, and how does that feel to you to sort of be a part of it, but then to try and engage others also?
I mean, I love doing that stuff. I mean, it's so great to be able to, the peer sessions in particular, it's a monthly songwriter showcase. You were on it once, which was great.
Yeah, with the aforementioned Matt Cook, actually.
It's true. And it's just great. I mean, there's so many places to play, but not very many listening rooms. And it's great to be able to get songwriters in front of people that truly sit there and listen and enjoy it, and to bring in people that they haven't heard before. Just broaden my horizons too. I've met a lot of people that I probably wouldn't have met yet.
Yeah.
And it's getting their music out there, which I love being able to help do.
Yeah, I like that though, like a good listening room, because I mean, you could have 100 people at a club, and if they're all kind of milling around,
right.
Maybe a handful are listening, but at a place like that, which is at a church, maybe you only have like 40 people, but all 40 of them are there specifically to sort of listen to that. And even as a person who's played it before, thank you again for like doing something cool like that, for that reason, to get people exposed to people who want to hear new things, who are open to new things. So we don't have too much time left. I had one or two more questions for you, and I wanted to ask you, because you seem like a pretty measured guy, and you seem to me like somebody who doesn't really like to make a lot of mistakes. Like you take calculated risks, sort of, or at least that's sort of the impression I have of you. Just as we've sort of known each other for about a year now. What's your biggest mistake that you made as a musician? Yeah, you've been doing it so long, so.
And nothing is springing to mind.
There you go. That's all right. There you have it.
Overly calculated.
No, but
it's the most calculated answer.
Yeah.
See. Yeah, I truthfully, I don't. Nothing really jumps to mind at the moment. Can I get back to you on that?
Yeah. We'll have you on next season.
I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night thing.
Yeah. Give us a call next week during the show, and we'll get down to
Yeah, Chris will throw you on. Like FaceTime him. Yeah. FaceTime will have you on.
Matt, we can do that. We can just FaceTime Dave Vargo in every week, right? That was a yes.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. So my last question is, given all this experience you've had, and even thinking about what you said, touring and having like 5 days off a year, that's not that dissimilar to, even on a smaller scale, what people do around here. Like Chris plays in how many bands? 4 bands? 5 bands?
Who remembers?
Yeah.
He doesn't even know.
And it's hard. The impression I get is that everybody wants a break, but yeah, similarly, like everybody kind of seems a little scared to take time off because they're afraid, like, oh, well, that's it. They're just gonna hop off and go away. So what kind of insight would you lend to someone like Chris, or any kind of young musician that's making his way, playing good shows, and doing the right things, as somebody who has done it and has found sort of a second life with it? What do you got?
Well,
say it into the camera.
You need to be in at least 15 bands.
I mean, that's the end goal.
No, I think you just have to work really hard. I mean, I think I was afraid, and probably rightfully so afraid, not to say no too many times, because just everything led to something else. It was just, and there was no game plan behind it. But just being in front of the right people at the right time, and some people call it luck. I just called it hard work. And if I didn't take that extra show, I wouldn't have been in front of X, Y, Z at the time. It was hard. I mean, physically, it was hard mentally. I mean, at one point I sat down and I said, you know what? I'm really a homeless person. I don't have a home. I don't have a car. I have a storage unit in California, I have a storage unit in New Jersey, and I have what's on my back and in my suitcase. And that, at the very end of doing one of those tours, kind of hit me hard, and I said, well, maybe it's time to stop. And when I stopped, that was it. I didn't do any touring at all after that. So I stopped cold. But I don't know how you find that balance. I mean, especially at the beginning when you're, do it when you're young and build up as much as you can. So at some point it's on your own time, your own rules. When you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to take some time off and sit back and write 3 hours worth of material, or go to your Cayman Islands and visit your money in person.
Yeah, one day.
Visit your money in. There you go. That's the quote of the day. Visit your money in person. Dave Vargo. Advice from Dave Vargo.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
That was great. And we're gonna get to hear some of the songwriting in a little bit. Some of the singing and songwriting. So excited to hear it.
Thank you.
So, Dave Vargo, everybody.
One More with Brian Erickson is sponsored by You Don't Know Jersey. Founded in 2010 by Alice. Good God, I'm going to have to try to pronounce it. Madziak. Alice and Ed Madziak. You Don't Know Jersey has been covering all the best music, food, sports, arts, and cultural events that the Garden State has to offer for nearly a decade. Hey, Brian, do you want to know when the annual Hohokus Kielbasa Cook-Off is? Of course you do. When is it? Do you want to come with me?
Yeah,
Let's go.
I do.
Cook off
Are you Polish?
What?
Are you Polish?
Of course I am. Look at the size of my face. I just took the quote of the night. Hey, Dave Vargo, weren't you asking about that powdered donut shop in Ocean City? Don't lie to me. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. That's aggressive copy. So whether you're in the High Point, Cape May, or anywhere in between, check out youdon'tknowjersey.com for all the latest. You don't know Jersey, but we sure do. That's not their slogan. Brian.
Let's bring out Justin Pope and the Swiss Guard. Mr. Pope. Oh, what's going on, fellas? This has been a long time coming, sir.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you. This is,
Comfy couch.
it's not that bad. I feel weird because I can't find a chair that's lower. So I feel like, like that picture when they signed the Declaration of Independence and George Washington, even though he's sitting down, is still taller than everybody else. I feel like George Washington.
I've worked in a public school for a number of years, so I'm like right at home in these low.
Oh yeah, you're
chairs.
right down there, right down. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
I found your voiceover artist profile.
Oh, you did you?
Yeah, and it says you are a John Krasinski-like everyman with a warm, dynamic guy next door voice.
This is very true, Brian.
He's like, well, I might be, but I'm curious. They said you could do a Dixie /
Oh man,
Delta
don't do this.
accent.
They did this to me at work the other day. Somebody found my
Someone
voiceover
found you?
profile, and I actually, what's funny is it's like, do you ever see the Friends episode where Joey says
I didn't know.
he's got? Okay, come on,
Sorry,
come on, you're old like me.
I am, but I don't know. I was more of a Frasier guy.
Everybody pads their resume a little bit, so I put a few dialects that I may not actually know how to do. And the other day, I got a Appalachia Deep South job offering.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
Just when it's fine because it's not. It's a very impersonal field voiceover.
Okay.
So they sort of send out the APB and you come calling if it fits your type.
Big Appalachia guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have said Appalachia before I was corrected, so I clearly wouldn't have gotten the job.
So you went to McGill University.
I did.
Because you liked Leonard Cohen.
Because I liked Leonard Cohen.
So what drew you to songwriting in the first place?
Well, it's a good question, Brian, and I probably should have prepared for you to ask a question like that.
I mean, that's like 100 level.
That is
like songwriter. There's a songwriter episode. We're going to talk a little about songwriting.
So I was in grade 5. Okay, I was in the 5th grade, and I was hanging out with a couple of kids who were
Dave
into the.
Vargo's got you beat by 2 years.
Okay.
He said he was 8. So.
Oh well, no, that's true. I probably
just wanted to point that out.
So we started a band called Phoenix Nuclear Holocaust in the 5th grade, which is a terrible name for a band.
That's a great. No, that's a great name.
That's a really good name.
Kid. No, that's great.
But it was one of these 5th grade bands where like it exists solely in your mind, but it has a logo and you've got song titles, and then the songs came from that. We had like an official band notebook where the songs got written and scrawled in, and we wrote songs almost exclusively about dinosaurs and great white sharks and the kinds of things that interest you as a 5th grader.
Yeah,
So like I want to back up though a note. So like the 5th grade version of having a band camp. Like you had.
But
like
But at least with a band camp, you have to have content.
That's.
We had no content. We had a lot of fights over who would be the guitar player, though. There was a lot of like, I'm going to play the guitar. None of us could actually play the guitar.
Oh, so none of you were playing instruments?
No. This was a purely conceptual band. It was like a Yoko Ono art project kind of a band.
Wow. Okay. Yes, I am a witch.
Yes. This is not a band. So we wrote songs about sharks and dinosaurs, and I liked rhyme, so I'd read a lot of poetry.
Okay.
Got really into writing, rhyme schemes in poetry, and then
were you in a serious question? Were you reading or exposed to poetry of any kind back then?
Yes. So my dad was a big fan of reading us stories at bedtime. So he'd always read us like Ogden Nash stuff or Lewis Carroll stuff. So I was like meter and rhyme. Mm-hmm. So that stuff kind of came naturally to me. And then with I was a huge U2 fan. I mean, we covered this on the podcast when we talked about Leonard Cohen.
And the snarky thing for me to do would be to say like to apologize on your behalf. But U2, because a lot of people don't realize like U2 made really good records.
They really did. And I too would like somebody to create me like a best of U2 after How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. Like I want somebody else to listen to those records and like cherry pick the songs.
Can't be done. There are none.
Raised by Wolves is really good.
What's that one on?
Songs of Innocence.
Yeah,
okay.
every Breaking Wave is really good too. That's a good one.
Every Breaking Wave.
Yes.
But so I'm like, I really hate admitting this because I wrote Bono as God on like all of my clothes when I was a.
By the way, I do like that you included Atomic Bomb as being like, because that's a good one.
That's a good one, and I feel like that was the moment that were like City of Blinding Lights I loved, and there was like a bunch of stuff on that I loved, but then at that moment, U2 just kind of. Thing. Well, so I discovered Leonard Cohen on a chorus trip to Canada through Bono, because Bono did the world's worst version of Hallelujah, which I said this on the podcast. Yeah. You can Google it. It is like Hallelujah is one of those unkillable songs. Like it's really hard to do a bad version of it. Definitive version, Katie Lang. We had this conversation over text.
Okay.
But watch the Katie Lang doing it. That's the definitive Hallelujah, period.
Wow.
I say that here. The show now.
Wow.
I will fight anyone.
To all our viewer.
The Katie Lang Hallelujah from the Leonard Cohen tribute concert is the definitive Hallelujah. But
I like I saw Michael McDonald do that live. Do Hallelujah live.
I heard it was.
Exactly. Did it just like that after Leonard Cohen released the statement saying, "Can we all please lay off Hallelujah?"
Michael McDonald said, "No, no, no."
Yeah, and then he put it on an album, and I saw him for free at the Balloon Festival. In 2009.
Michael McDonald was at the Balloon Festival.
Yeah, he was.
Festival.
It's this thing that happens in Hunterdon County.
Where around where he lives and where
serious.
I used to live. It's very serious
Days
stuff.
worth of like hundreds of balloons. Not, helium.
Like hot air balloons.
Big.
Yeah, the Quick
It's like
Check
I need a
Festival
license
of
to-
Ballooning.
Yeah, exactly.
I think and then for Quick Check, if you ever go to a Quick Check in New Jersey the month before, they're just like barraging you. It's on every cup.
It's almost like it's their own personal advent calendar.
My sister saw the Jonas Brothers there one year.
What?
I feel like
Well,
that
they were
was
probably local.
They were like this was
before
the
they were famous.
No, I feel like it was like pre-peak, like regional curiosity.
So like Chris's band, The Burns, now.
Okay.
I think you're headed
You'll be on the Balloon Festival.
Yeah, you're headed in the right direction.
Balloon Festival 2020.
Get me some emails. I'll play Balloon Festival.
Stick them on a balloon. All right. See you, Chris. Bye, Chris.
On camera. Don't.
It's the most. No, seriously. My son is 4 and he likes the idea of a balloon. So I put on one of those YouTube videos of somebody riding a balloon where you're experiencing it with them in 4K.
Oh,
it is terrifying.
I can imagine.
Not the whole time I'd be like jump, 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 like a little voice in the back of your head. No, I don't want to do it.
They're not so terrifying up close, though. I mean, I grew up in the sticks in Hunterdon, so like they would land across the street from us fairly regularly. When I say street, I mean like a road basically made of straw. But when
And they
get
give
up,
you champagne when they land in your yard. They like carry a bottle in the thing.
I wasn't.
It's the least they
I
could do
wasn't
for like
old enough.
literally landing in your backyard.
Yeah, no, they do gift you.
I would hope they would bring alcohol. At least.
It's like a party. They like unfurl a basket. No, actually, the balloon basket's like a giant picnic basket.
Yeah,
they
it's
fold
pretty
down the
cool.
sides. There's very large forks, very large plates.
I just think the scariest thing about it is the sandbags. Like you've got to operate the sandbags in order to change altitude. Like that's horrifying, right? Isn't that
Really?
in part? Maybe I misunderstand. I know, of course, you can go and get the flames and the whole.
What do you have
thing.
to do? Okay.
Like that, yeah.
One more time.
That's the quote. It's in parentheses. Evan Straley.
One
So by the
more.
way, real quick, Evan Straley,
Yes.
bass guitar player for the Swiss Guard, also bass violin player, and Brian Green, lead guitar player for the Swiss Guard.
And you know Brian is in a bunch of bands.
Oh, we will
I've
get
seen.
there.
So how did this all? So like you're kind of a notorious for not releasing stuff that often. So like
Like
how did,
ever?
So how did it? Well, your last, according to your Bandcamp, your last release was a demo 7 years ago.
Yes, it was a demo, and I released it on my birthday, and I remember that.
Okay.
And you know what? It doesn't feel like it was 7 years ago, and so now I feel very embarrassed and sad that the world has been deprived.
But don't you just want it to sound the way you want it to sound? Mm-hmm. So
And then
it
you-
takes 7 years to make it.
Well, like, so I feel like there's a sea change that happened generationally, and I'm of this other generation where you like, it's very uncomfortable for me to pull out my guitar and play songs for people. Like it's not something I want to like, present to everybody, which is terrible and as a musician, a professional musician. But like it was more of like, oh, I've been working on this song, would you like to hear it? It's a very one-on-one intimate thing, whereas I feel like a lot of people today, content is king. So it's you write the song, get it out there, get it out there, get it out there. And obviously Neil Young, and there's people that did that in the olden days. But I'm more of a one song a year kind of person. So when it's funny, I put demo on the song, it's done. But like the demo allows me
It allows you to
yeah.
Yeah, it allows you the option to go back to it if you want, because I don't know, it sounds done to me.
It's nerve-wracking for me. Like I get like physically ill at
Where
the
does
thought
that
of
come
putting.
from?
I don't know. I guess when I was in high school and I would bring the guitar out at parties, there was always like one or two friends would be like, oh, not again with the guitar.
The guitar guy, right?
The guitar
we were just
guy.
talking about being the guitar
and
guy.
and it's
yeah.
funny because I'm a self-hating singer-songwriter. Like I really don't listen to a lot of singer-songwriters, with some great exceptions. So I don't know. I guess I have that. I got to get over that. That would be my biggest mistake if that question's going to be on the list.
That
later.
is not on the list, but
All
you
right.
can answer it because Dave has not made a mistake. So
Until tonight.
yeah, until today, Dave's biggest mistake is coming on OneMore, which I feel awful about. But you can field that one if you want.
Well, no, I just think that's a mindset thing. It's definitely like my own personal roadblock because I've got this great crew of people, and we are going to record some things. We'll get to that.
But this is a fairly new operation, though.
So I host open mic nights. That's been a big thing. That's been a part of my life. I actually met my wife hosting an open mic night.
We met at an open.
If you're
mic.
watching, hi Lisa. We met at an open mic night.
10.
Where
years
was that?
ago. John and Peters.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
And-
from whence we came.
I feel like I've seen you grow up as a performer,
Oh, you totally have.
which is like a really wonderful thing to see.
Because I was terrible.
You said that earlier, but I can't. Like, really?
Yeah. Oh, I'm still bad, but I was really, really bad.
I remember you covered a Scott Walker song like one of the first times.
Yeah,
and I was
30th
like,
Century Man.
yeah.
That was for you. Like, you see, because I always looked at you. You were like the sort of. No, you can. That's fine. You were like sort of the the sort of cognoscenti. You always had this sort of mature taste in music. There was another open mic host, Tim Nayfield, we talked about this off camera before, but I said, oh yeah, I knew something was up that particular open mic because it wasn't like white dudes singing funk songs in between songs. It wasn't like Black Crows and stuff like that, or like early Robert Palmer. It was the Walkmen covering Leonard Cohen. And then I remember going to the booth and being like, who's here tonight?
Yeah, the Daytrotter session.
It's not Tim Mayfield. And then that's how we met.
Now, Tim does, for the record, make legendary mixes. I don't know if you ever got any of his.
He gifted me. I still have them.
I've got one. He made one for kids that I play for Dylan all the time. But yeah, like I mean, you know what's funny? To go back to the other thing, do you ever hear that Ira Glass quote? Excuse me, about like the gulf between your tastes and like your output. I feel like that's always been my thing. Like I feel like I have pretty good taste.
And you know what you make isn't up to your own standards. So if you need 7 years to get it, I mean, it takes 7 years to make it.
But you gotta do stuff. In the interim.
No, you
but
do.
Isn't it also, part of the joy? Isn't the aspiration part of the joy? Or I should ask, is the aspiration part of the joy?
Absolutely.
Because I think everybody, I think other people's answers might be different, because if they like slave over something and they're never satisfied, then maybe it's not.
It's getting the closest to, which is a good transitional point. It's getting the close. We talked about this the other night with Bob Dylan and Blonde on Blonde, where he said he had that wild Mercury sound in his head.
Only album he says that he ever made that was that tracked with what he heard in his head.
Exactly, and like he did that with that crew of people, and that's one of the best things about these guys is who I met at an open mic night as well. Was that the songs that I've written, and many of which I wrote many years ago, finally sound the way they always sounded in my head. So I feel like we're the closest we've ever been to there being some recorded material by Justin Pope in the world, thanks to the Swiss Guard.
So is this it? Is this going to be the group that finally like helps?
I think
is this it? Can you make the announcement here? Like, there will be a Swiss Guard recording with this music, with this material.
We will absolutely be recording in the fall. There are active conversations.
Or actually, I'm sorry, there will be music released. I've heard recorded stuff that's not released. There are troves of things. Will it be released?
It will be released. We can say that here.
I think yes.
Let's all point. Let's do it like a very official.
It will be released. I'll say that on behalf of Justin.
We shall be released.
You shall be released.
Yeah, so Evan over here was coming to open mic night with this other guitar player, and they did like this jazz thing, and then they had this random drummer who was a guy drinking at the bar come up and play drums with them, and it was this amazing thing, and I was like, wow, that guy really, really good at the bass. This guy, Brian, is playing in a group called Sourland.
Oh yeah, I love Sourland. We're having Tyson on in like a month.
Oh, awesome.
Or a month and a half, but yeah, he's so you may end up being back. That's my point.
And we started the idea of playing some. Actually, I put a band together to do a Velvet Underground tribute show.
That was a great. I think about that.
That was good. I heard that shit.
Did you?
Really good.
I was so fortunate to be, when you asked me to do that gig. I was like, yes, like, oh, this is great. Because having come to that open mic, and you were saying how important open mics were to you. Like, that open mic that you were running was my gateway into that community in that area, and then through that and doing that Velvet Underground gig, like, I think back on that gig, and that was some of my favorite playing I've ever done. Like, that just felt so right, and I just wanted to say that so that you know that it.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, and
it's important to have those community fostering events, because without, I mean, I don't think we would have ever. Maybe we would have met later.
Well, I was saying this, you weren't there last night. I was saying this to somebody at the bar, was when you try out, and shout out to Joe Montone in Doylestown, who puts together these great bands covering a whole album thing. You try on the costume, and all of a sudden I felt comfortable doing stuff that I'd never done before on stage. Like the ego death kind of thing that you seek as a performer. Like, it finally happened a little bit.
So I got one more question for you. And this specifically for you, Justin, because you've known your wife Lisa for what, 13, 14 years now, if my memory serves me. And not selling her short, she's also a wonderful musician in her own right, with excellent and discerning tastes. And you're talking about the idea of being a sort of self-hating singer-songwriter and having a little bit of this anxiety of, well, you're going to put demo on it just in case and stuff. How does she keep you grounded when the sort of bad thoughts start to take over a little bit?
You know, there's the line in the Jason Isbell song about you let her sneak away for a while so the muse comes back. Like in it's one of the songs he has where he sings about is when you love somebody, you know, and they're struggling with their art, you kind of let them. And so she, number one, she really appreciates that. But I should also say that my wife is an award-winning journalist and a teacher. So she can turn work around and call it done. Like when you're writing for Deadline, that's because you write for newspapers and stuff too, that's going in. So her songwriting style is so immediate that it's inspiring for me. And she's actually kind of challenged me a few times over the course of our relationship to say, you know, it can be done. Like this can be done now. So I feel like she's the one always kind of pulling me to finish things. Sometimes I think, you know, I exasperate her in that regard, but she definitely understands and lets me be the sort of like Don Music from Sesame Street. That's my spirit animal. You know, he would like play, couldn't remember the ABCD and then slam his head on the piano. You know, that's Don Music is kind of my musical spirit animal. And I think she's there to kind of be the counterpoint to that and be like, no, what you did there, I really like. And I feel like there's something there.
Excellent.
So.
Excellent, and we're going to hear some of this material, and some of this band in just a little bit.
Cheers! Thanks so much, Brian.
The Swiss Guard, everybody. Oh, hey, Chris.
Hey. You want to get set up? Give me 1 second. I actually kind of like this setup I feel like an old-time radio announcer now. This week's episode of One More is brought to you by the Asbury Park Music Foundation. APMF, or AMPF if you're feeling fancy, raises money to support youth music programs throughout Asbury Park that provide lasting skills, self-confidence, and life-changing experiences for underserved kids in our community. They're moving a sofa. It's great. This includes funding for the Hip Hop Institute at the Boys and Girls Club of Monmouth, in-school music programs at Hope Academy, and scholarships for kids to attend the Lake House Music Academy. APMF also hosts free summer concert series to bring communities together through the power of music. Music Mondays at Springwood Park brings the past and the present together to showcase what Asbury has to offer. The Asbury Park Concert Band, now in its 73rd years of shows on the Boardwalk, playing jazz and big band music. And Asbury Park Live on Wednesdays in front of Mogo and Watermark, which spotlights emerging bands from all over New Jersey. If you're interested in keeping Asbury Park's legacy of music alive by making a meaningful difference for the underserved youth in our community, head to AsburyParkMusicLivesOrLives.org to make a donation. And while you're there, pick up a Music Saved Asbury Park t-shirt. All proceeds make it possible to support Music Save My Life youth program. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the writer of such hits as Baby Got Back, Backstreet's Back, Back in Black, Back to Black, and Ebony and Ivory, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Vargo.
Searching through the scattered pieces, chasing you too long. Took a chance, broken romance, and now that feeling's gone. You're asking all your friends, how can this be so wrong? Is it ever gonna get better from this moment on? Looking for that something special, looking for a sign. Don't wanna miss the one and only, this could be your time. You're asking all your friends, how can you be so blind? Is it ever gonna get better from this moment on? It's not so funny how it moves so fast. Time says by till nothing's meant to last. You always think it's gonna be different, but it ends right where you start. Each step you count the days and try and play the part. You're asking all your friends, how can this be so hard? Is it ever gonna get better from this moment on? It's not so funny how it moves so fast. Time slips by till nothing's meant to last. This moment on, this moment on and on and on and on.
Well, thank you. We are doing two, right?
Yeah, we got one more.
I hope I know another one.
Do Whitney Houston
Sure, that'll go over great.
You know, it still sends shivers up my spine when I hear it on the radio.
Better days, still stuck in this place, trying hard to finally get your fill. Taking flight, you rode through the night, gonna leave behind all that else. To have the numb I lost between these two worlds. First to fight, last to win. Twisting lines around the lines of all the rewrites, and all the things that cast you in. Wounded words continue to unfurl. One could be the stone that does you in. Glancing blows, gotta prove what you know. Staggered by the weight of all the sin. To have the numb I lost between these two worlds. First to fight, last to win. Twisting words around the lines of all the rewrites, and all the things that cast you in. Can't turn away from the wreckage as the worlds collide. A bit too deep and now you're reeling. It's burning on both sides. Ducked off the ledge, that's some forgotten pledge. Living proof some rhymes that need to bleed. To have the numb I lost between those two worlds. First to fight and last to win. Twisting words around the lines of all the rewrites, and all the things that cash you in.
This week in events,
Monday, August 13th, Tight-Lipped, Sam Pace and the Gilded Grit, and Bliss Taker at the Wonder Bar at 8 p.m. That's happening right now. It's going on. Go over there. Drive. Look at your phone during it. Matt Smith approves. Isn't that right, Matt? Tuesday, August 14th, the Vlasic Classic open mic at the Chubby Pickle in Highlands, New Jersey. Not Atlantic Highlands, good God. Hosted by Cranston Deans at the Chubby Pickle. You know, they got beer. Wednesday, August 15th, the Burns and those oh-so-spooky gentlemen of Where Ghosts Now will be playing the indoor stage at Stone Pony in support of Cake and Ben Folds on the summer stage. Message me for tickets. I have a bunch. Buy them. They're a little bit cheaper. Shh. Ella Ross, Jake Tavel, and Matt Runciman. I hope I got that right, Matt. At the Asbury. I didn't. He's doing great. The Asbury Hotel at 8 p.m. Kathy Quintana, Max Carmichael, and Natalie Farrell, not Farrell, at the downtown Red Bank at 8 p.m. My friend Julia is going to be in New York. She's out in California. We missed you, Julia. We love you. Thursday, August 16th, my favorite band, the Afraid Brigade. The Burns, never heard of them. Red House, Blue House, and Tulavera at Boone Tunes in Boonton, New Jersey. That starts at 7:30 p.m. Friday, August 17th, Toy Cars, Secret Mountain, Roswell Kids are at the AP Brewery at 7 p.m. Shadow Play, King Kong, The Burns, never heard of them, and the Hell Yeah Babies are at the Music Ward in Philly. That's at 8 p.m. Joshua Mark, The Porchistas, Burn in the Brights are at the Denny Clinch Gallery at 8:30 p.m. Saturday, August 18th, happy birthday, Zaritza, and also happy birthday to Ava Portman. I never heard of her. Just kidding, I love you. Asbury Park Surf Music Festival at the Anchor's Bend at 12 noon. The Rock and Roll High Fives and the Van Saters at the APYC at 9:30. Brian Molnar, Yawnmower, Leeds, and Low Light are at John and Peters in New Hope at 8 p.m. Sunday, August 19th, close out your weekend at the Chubby Pickle for an afternoon with The Project Matters, featuring music by Catherine Quintana and Morningside Lane. Raffles, good God, raffles, and lots of drinking with Cranston Dean and Colton Gaza. Wait, I thought they were the same person. Damn it, Brian. The event kicks off at 4 p.m. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the only man to make Neutral Milk Hotel look prolific, Justin Pope. Good God,
Joshua is a Swiss guard.
I'm so close. Justin Pope is a Swiss guard.
I found my new Twitter bio.
For a king, Father calls you out on everything. You're gonna bypass all that life has to offer you, boy. Attention paid is minimal at best. A prayer for all the patience time will test. Pour out the caveat. There you have it. It's okay today. But when you're standing on the edge of reason, kicking and screaming, for heaven's sake, don't forget your life's a trial for treason. Against all of the reasons your conscience aches. Go on, it's your birthday. You want. The last of it is swirling around your glass. Here's one for all the mistakes in the past. You say for the sake of trying to make up before this unravels. But you'll celebrate the callous caring part as it corrugates the cardboard in your heart in case of unfolding. At least
wrist you're holding something built to travel. But when you're standing on the edge of reason, kicking and screaming for heaven's sake, don't forget your life's a trial for treason, against all other reasons your conscience aches. Go on, it's your birthday. Do what you want. Sing it, Brian. When you're standing on the edge of reason, kicking and screaming for heaven's sake, don't forget your life's a trial for treason, against all other reasons that your conscience aches. Go on, it's your birthday. You do what you want. Go on, it's your birthday. Do what you want. Has anybody ever told you that it's very damp in here? That doesn't carry over to the internet, but it is very damp in this room. Are you guys ready? Oh, yeah. Evan Straley on the bass over here. Mr. Brian Green on electric guitar. We are 3/5 of the Swiss Guard. The song's called Sleep Off a Dream. Thanks so much for having us here today. I've been having every night. We built an empire on self-esteem, and everyone was right. We swept the ashes of the Ferris wheel, built another where the old one used to be. 5 weeks vacation and a sweetheart deal. Grown up, the astronauts we'd always be, we'd hoped, giving orders and calling shots instead of taking both. Most of my friends were born in broken homes. They know the rent is month to month on easy streets. Doors and windows, locks and skin and bones, a place to fall asleep. takes an hour just to wash it off. Every time I wake, I try the good stuff, but it just makes me cough and make little mistakes. Most of my friends were born in broken homes. They know the rent is month to month on easy streets. Doors and windows, locks and skin and bones, a place to fall asleep. Most of my friends were born unsatisfied, impatient patients of the doctor down the street. Check the locks and let the cat inside and try to get some sleep.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
Thanks so much.
That's Brian, Justin, and Evan, the Swiss Guard.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Dave.
Thanks so much.
For the, are we gonna sit? You want to sit again? We did this again, yeah. So for Dave Vargo, the Swiss Guard, Chris Dubrow, and from everyone here at the Asbury Park Music Foundation, I have been, and I remain Brian Erickson. We'll see you all next week. Good night.